All right. Is it working this time? Is it working? All right, looks like it's working. Okay, hey, welcome. I'm here at the new the new farmer's house. Farmers live here. It's a huge house. It's a farmhouse. And they've already made babies because I guess the crops grow pretty quick. So this will relieve me from the duty of saving all those people up there. Like I don't have to sit in front of the machine and kill like all those zombies just to find a villager. Now they will make themselves. They make themselves. So yeah, that's what this is, right? This is a big farmhouse. I made a big farm plot. I made for farmers. It's good for them because they can now grow their own food and reproduce, and that means I can just make buildings and plop in beds, and people will move in. And it's good for me because I can trade my crops with them, so I can get some emeralds. Ha 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 ha. And I think other good things. So, okay. But yeah, the village is coming along. Like, yeah, it was a bit annoying to get to this point. It took some work. But here I am. Okay, so yeah, my show. Yeah, let me do the title screen real quick so everyone remembers. Title screen. Ooh, episode 10 of season 9. And today I was Oh no! Oh no! Ah! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Come on. I don't think it's gonna work anymore. I might have to go native, and then deal with the tabbing out. Deal with it. Okay, is it working? Is it cool? It's not cool. It's not cool. It's not cool. I'm gonna have to do this in native resolution, and I think I'm gonna have to go to close OBS again and redo the stream take 3. How oh man, this is terrible. I don't know what's happening. What's happening? Why is this happening? So options, video settings. We're gonna go native. And we're not gonna do this. We're gonna You know what it is? Is like if I even show it, it crashes. So let me go to the title screen here and then try to fix it. It's OBS. Yeah, as soon as it pops up in OBS, the whole thing crashes. Yeah, I got it. So, yo. Okay. Yeah, see, it's not gonna kill it because native apply. Ba 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 da ba ba. Hey. Ba 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 da ba ba. Hey. Deal with it. It runs much better on native too. Okay, we're gonna try this. Ready? Ba 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 da ba ba. Switch to Java Minecraft. Okay. Ba 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 da ba ba. No. Okay. So I think what that means is I cannot use super resolution. It's not going to work. I'm going to try the title screen trick again. No super resolution for you. Well, it's only a preview driver, so it's not like fully working, I think. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going to switch this back to Java Minecraft. Super resolution should have stopped. It shouldn't be even doing that. It's going to die again. No, it didn't. It didn't die. It didn't die. It didn't die. All right. Okay, so we're back in business. Yeah, what I was saying is that these guys are farmers. They're self-sufficient now. They have a big farmhouse, and they're gonna populate the beds. All I have to do is make the houses, and it's great. Then I was talking about how like I can talk about anything if someone gives me a prompt. Then I'm like, no, I can't actually talk about anything. But if you talk about how we got here, I can tell you all about it. As far as I know, at least. Like, how do we get here? Well... What else do we got? I made a house. I'm trying the wavy water to see if that looks kind of cool instead of the flat Minecraft water. What's up, homie? It's like, trade with me. Not yet. I gotta make more houses. But yeah, it's coming together. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. So I mean, really, the farmhouse is what I did. Well, no, okay, that's not true. I also like made a few improvements to the mob spawner. Bop bop. Like a rudimentary like return system. So I got a return system. I got a return system. Check that out. Yes. Haha. And a dismount system. Dismount. So I've got like a way to come up and down from here now, which is, you know, nice. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Like, who's watching anyways, right? I'm looking at my chat. Nobody. I think my neighbors are mad at me for like talking loud into the wall. I've been doing this show for like years now. Years and years and years. And it's because I recognized, I mean, it came to me like, how to say this? I always suspected the Confederacy was never really gone. Like, I grew up believing that the Confederacy was like done for, like over and done for, gone. Like, and then Martin Luther King Jr. came along, and they had the civil rights movement, and then they eradicated the rest of the bad stuff. And so, yeah. So that's what I was taught, but I had felt that like I don't know if it's really actually gone. But I think the thing that radicalized me, I guess, was when I realized Donald Trump had sold us out to the Russians. That's what did it. That's what did it for me. Yeah. I realized this a few days like after he was in his presidency, like a few months after he was in his presidency. I watched as Sally Yates testified. Sally Yates was the Deputy Attorney General of the Department of Justice. While she was working for Obama, they found out. I don't know, like Obama fired. Okay, so Sally Yates testified in front of Congress, and she testified. She got fired. She was fired by the, by Trump, and she testified in front of Congress, and she said, we told the Trump campaign 3 times that Michael Flynn was a spy, and 3 times they ignored us until we went to the press. And after we went to the press, then the Trump campaign had to fire Mike Flynn. But then they fired me too, or like Sally Yates too. So, because why? Because Sally Yates told on them. Sally Yates got their dude Mike Flynn fired. Who's their dude? Well, he was a Russian spy. He's working for Turkey, or not Russian, but for Turkey. He was working for another country. And yeah, and the Trump campaign knew about it, but was only fired him because of political pressure. So I was watching that going, oh, okay. But all the other Russia stuff was happening. The Steele dossier came out. Which, hasn't been disproven. I don't know. Like when I understood that Donald Trump was working for Russia, that's when I kind of lost it. I went like, oh. And so here, yeah, I have a picture of it, right? So I'm not just like crazy. Oh yeah, is it gonna work if it keeps doing that? I don't know, man. Like, here's the picture. So from this picture, you can like just see, like, Donald Trump, the way he represented the United States, just from this picture. Just look at this picture. So in this meeting right here, this one right here, in this upper right-hand corner, that's Donald Trump with Vladimir Putin directly after their 2-hour meeting. They spent 2 hours alone in a room in Helsinki, Finland, which is just right next to Russia. They spent 2 hours in a room. Just them, no other Americans. Like, usually the president is flanked by important people, so that it's not just one perspective. Everybody gets to hear what's going on and see what's going on. Right? That's the way it's normally done. Like, it's not a secret thing. This was weird for Donald Trump to go meet Vladimir Putin alone with nobody else there. That's freaky. That's weird. Anyways, when they came out of that meeting, Donald Trump was deflated. Right? Why is he deflated? Because he's walking next to somebody who has power over him. That Helsinki meeting was like off the wall. And after that Helsinki meeting, Donald Trump came out and said that he believed Russia and he didn't believe the Americans. when Russia says that when they denied interfering in the American elections. And like, Yeah, it's unbelievable, right? So the American president is siding with a foreign hostile government against the United States? Really? Holy shit. Like, that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. It just blows my mind. Like, and then you think, what would make Donald Trump do something like that? What would make him do something like that? And the answer is Vladimir Putin has power over Donald Trump. Donald Trump owes the Russians a lot of money. So here's the next one, right? So it's good to juxtapose this one with this one. Okay, so in this one, Donald Trump had a one-on-one meeting with Vladimir Putin, came out looking defeated and totally subservient to Russia. Donald Trump has never said anything negative about Vladimir Putin. He never will, because you don't insult your boss. That's why Donald Trump doesn't insult Donald Trump or Vladimir Putin. He never talks bad about Russia. He always praises Russia. It's crazy. It's weird. So in contrast, now here's Donald Trump surrounded by his ally, the American allies, the leaders of the American allies. All right. These guys are in NATO, and that guy is the Japanese president, I think. And all these guys are like trying to get things done, and there's Donald Trump. Look at the way he looks like. He looks like a little petulant little brat. Right. That's how he. So just so you can like see, he's subservient to Putin, but he's defiant with all his allies. Isn't that kind of weird? Okay, the next set of pictures. In this one, we have Donald Trump going to North Korea. He's the only American president to ever go to meet the North Korean dictator. He's the only one. You'd like to have a direct meeting. Now you would think, well, doesn't that make Donald Trump smart? No, no. By having a direct meeting with that guy, you legitimate him. You give him a propaganda victory. He can take pictures of this and show his own brainwashed people, and then they will never ever resist his dictatorship over them. And they're like, so you don't want that. You don't want to legitimate the North Korean dictatorship, but Donald Trump did. And Donald Trump had love letters, quote quote. Like he's never said anything bad about Kim Jong-un. He never says it. Never says it. Never says anything bad. Like, it's weird. So there's him going to the demilitarized zone to like meet the dictator, and he salutes the North Korean general. What is a U.S. president doing saluting a foreign general? Like an enemy general. Why would you do that, Donald Trump? What it is that he sees the uniform and thinks authority. he's terrible, right? So he's like honoring the enemy of our basically our enemy, who threatens our allies all the time. Like, he's an asshole. And then, okay, right next to it, here's a picture of Donald Trump with President Zelensky of Ukraine. Now, remember, Russia wants to take over Ukraine. Now, there's two ways Russia could do that. Russia could, like, the easy way, the way they prefer to do it, is the way they did it in Belarus, which is you get a friendly, you corrupt the government. You just corrupt the government, like, so you can appear to be a democracy, but not really, because you've corrupted the government. So that's not. So they wanted to do that, right? So their first guy, Yanukovych, he was doing it. He was a president. He was acting like a mini Donald Trump. He jailed his political opponents. He was subservient to Russia. He was going to pull Ukraine back into Russia. But the people of Ukraine revolted, and they had a revolution from I think December to February. They had like a 3 month like protest until Yanukovych fled Ukraine and went back to Russia. Then they elected like a new president, and I forgot his name, Poroshenko, right? And then that new president was okay, but then they replaced him with this new guy, Zelensky. Well, no, wait. First, the Russian guy, they had the revolution. They kicked out the Russian puppet, and the Russian puppet fled back to Moscow. Then Russia attacked Ukraine and took over the eastern part, and then took over Crimea. Right? So Russia invaded as a response of Ukraine having a revolution. Understand that. Ukraine had a revolution to have democracy, and in response, Russia invaded and took the eastern part of Ukraine and took Crimea, the peninsula. So that was already going on. And then Poroshenko took over, and then after Poroshenko was Zelensky. So here's Zelensky meeting with Donald Trump. Now, the American Congress understands that Ukraine is our ally and that we should defend democracy. So they were making deals with Ukraine in order to help Ukraine to better resist the Russian attempt to take over. Russia wanted to take it over like through a puppet, but the Ukrainians kicked out the puppet. So they did a little force to try to scare the Ukrainians into well, not even scare them, but like, yeah, to take the industrial part of Ukraine. And then Donald Trump was going to block the aid from going to Ukraine from America, and that's what he did. Donald Trump tried to block the aid from getting to Ukraine so that Ukraine would give in to Russia. So he treats our allies like tokens, and he treats our enemies with respect. He treats our allies like tokens and our enemies with respect. Like, Donald Trump is terrible. I fucking hate Donald Trump. All right. And this last image, we have Donald Trump not understanding how to do the handhold. He doesn't know how to do that. He can't do that. He can't figure it out. And then over here we have Donald Trump's wife meeting with Trudeau, or not Trudeau. Who's that Canadian guy? He's the Canadian president. I forgot his name. Sorry. Trudeau? No, it's not Trudeau. I don't know. Anyways, Donald Trump is terrible. I hate Donald Trump. Back to the game. What happened? See, I think the game keeps moving, even if I'm tabbed out and it looks frozen to me. The game's still moving. That's kind of crazy. I could have died a lot of times. Anyways, Donald Trump. So in Helsinki, he announced to the world that he believes the foreign hostile government over his own people. And I like flipped out. Anyways, what else do we got here? That's an old picture of Donald Trump hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. You know that Donald Trump took over Jeffrey Epstein's old plane and flies around in that too? But yeah, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein go way back. Here's a picture of Donald Trump at the Arizona rally. They photoshopped in the chalice and the knight from the Last Crusade. And Donald Trump drank from the wrong one. So this is what he looks like. He's 78 years old, man. I think he's too old to be president. Here's Donald Trump saying that women who get abortions should be punished.
What should the law be on abortion?
Well, I have been pro-life.
I know. What should the law? I know your principle. That's a good value, but well, what should be the law?
This presidential election is going to be very important because when you say
did you hear that? Like, so I'm gonna go back. I wanna like that's the awesomeness of video, that you can go backwards now. Catch what he did, right? He was given a direct question and he dodged it. His instinct was to dodge it. He was gonna do his thing. He wants to do a thing where he he replaces the question that he was asked with his own question, and then he'll answer his own question. He was gonna try to do that. But the reporter dude caught him right away, caught him on it and stopped him and redirected him. So let's go back and hear that. It's awesome. It's funny. It was funny. Listen.
What should the law be on abortion?
Well, I have been pro-life.
I know. What should the
So what should the law be on abortion? I have been pro-life. That's not you didn't answer the question. So he asks it again.
Well, I know your principle. That's a good value, but what should be the law?
This presidential election is going to be very important because when you say what's the law, nobody knows what the law is going to be. It depends on who gets elected because somebody's going to appoint conservative judges and somebody's going to appoint liberal judges depending on who wins.
I've never understood the pro-life position.
Well,
so that's the thing. What should be the law? And he didn't answer the question. He told you what he said. We're gonna have an election, and depends on who's win. That's gonna be the law. But he didn't answer the question. What should be the law? He didn't answer it. He didn't answer it. He won't answer it.
I never understood because I understand the principle. It's human life as people see it. But what crime? What crime is it?
Well, it's human life.
No, should the woman be punished for having an abortion?
Look, I would say that it's a very serious problem, and it's a problem that we have to decide on. It's very hard.
But you're forbidding it.
Say, well,
did you see how he just doesn't answer the question? He just wants to talk.
Wait, are you going to say put them in jail? Is that
well,
the
no, what I'm asking you, because you say you want to ban it. What's that mean?
I am pro-life, yes.
What is ban? How do you ban?
You see what I mean? He is so slippery. He is slippery, dude. He does not want to be pinned down. Like, he will not do another interview like this because with someone who challenges him. Like, it's so funny to see how slippery he is.
Ban abortion. How do you actually do it?
Well, you'll go back to a position like they had where people will perhaps go to illegal places.
Yeah.
But you have to ban it.
Do you believe believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
10 cents, 10 years,
I don't know. That I don't know.
Well, why not?
I don't know.
You take positions and everything else.
Frankly, I do take positions and everything else. It's a very complicated position.
I'm asking, you're running for president, I'm not. I'm asking you, what should a woman face if she chooses to have an abortion?
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play that game.
You said you're pro-life.
I am pro-life.
That means banning abortion.
And so is the Catholic Church pro-life.
Do you see how he... Yeah, dude, that guy is super slippery. He is super slippery. So, what the reporter finally got out of him was that he believes there should be punishment for women who get an abortion. He won't say what that punishment is. He tried to get the reporter to answer it for him. He asked the reporter, "What do you think?" He's like, "What do you think the punishment should be?" And it's like, "No, dude, you're the one running for president." That was a good reporter. Donald Trump won't do an interview like that again. So we know that Donald Trump wants to punish women who get an abortion. He won't say how he wants to punish them, but he wants to punish them. That's pretty effed up. Punishing people for their own healthcare choices, as if it's any of your business. It's none of your business. Like, really, it's not. Ooh, there's a guy there. I can save him. I can save this guy. You see him? He's back in the corner. He's like wedged in there with everybody else. Let's see. Oh, that's gonna be tricky, dude. How am I gonna get him out? Separate them out. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, so if I'm just careful. There we go. Now they're like... Move out of the way, man. I'm afraid I'm gonna... There we go. Okay, got it. See, he's by himself. I've isolated him. He's gonna go for the egg that's right there. Go for the egg. Do it. Oh, yes. And then he fell in the water. And then I'm gonna launch a cart to position him just so. And feed him knowledge. But I can't just feed him knowledge, I have to weaken him first. Weak. Feed him knowledge. You will join us soon. Okay. So yeah, Donald Trump wants to ban abortions. He's evil. Evil. This guy is Enrique Tario. Register number 98721-004, age 40, located at Manchester Federal Corrections Institute. Release date 8/22/2040. So I know there's a lot of people who want to say that there was no insurrection. That guy's in prison until 2040 for seditious conspiracy. What is seditious conspiracy? It's a conspiracy to overthrow the government. Why is that guy in prison until 2040 if it didn't happen? Clearly it happened. Do I have like another thing I can pop out? Clearly it happened. Clearly this happened, right? Clearly. This happened. All this happened. It's real. Remember hang Mike Pence? It all happened. It was an insurrection. They tried to overthrow the government. They tried to murder Congress. Trump, Netanyahu speak about Gaza hostage ceasefire deal. Trump says he told Netanyahu to end Gaza war but criticizes ceasefire call. Trump touts warm ties to Israel's Netanyahu, blasts Harris. So it's kind of clear that Donald Trump is working the back channels in order to hurt the peace process, or to thwart the ceasefire, in order to help himself win the election. So Netanyahu is not your friend, and like, there's another guy. Check that out. Nice. Netanyahu is not a friend of the United States. Ha ha ha. Alright, well, hang out until I can clear the chamber. Clear the chamber. Jiggle, jiggle. Okay. What else is going on? Da da da. Oh, this was the speech that the DNC wouldn't let be read. Let me read it. My name is Ruwa Roman, and I am honored to be the first Palestinian elected to public office in the great state of Georgia, and the first Palestinian to ever speak at the Democratic National Convention. My story begins in a small village near Jerusalem called Suba, where my dad's family is from. My mom's roots trace back to Al-Khalil, or Hebron. My parents, born in Jordan, brought us to Georgia when I was 8, where I now live with my wonderful husband and our sweet pets. Growing up, my grandfather and I shared a special bond. He was my partner in mischief, whether it was sneaking me sweets from the bodega or slipping a $20 bill into my pocket with that familiar wink and smile. He was my rock, but he passed away a few years ago, never seeing Suba or any part of Palestine again. Not a day goes by that I don't miss him. This past year has been especially hard. As we've been moral witnesses to the massacres in Gaza, I've thought of him, wondering if this is the pain he knew too well. When we watched the Palestinians displaced from one end of the Gaza Strip to the other, I wanted to ask him how he found the strength to walk all those miles decades ago and leave everything behind. Yeah, they wouldn't let her give that speech, the DNC. So remember, it's the Biden policy. It's been really not even just Biden, it's the American policy. The American policy has been to overlook the mistreatment of the Palestinian people, to give up, man. Give up. Stop bouncing. There you go. Just the policy has been to overlook the genocide of the Palestinian people in favor of some kind of U.S. interest. Probably U.S. interest in well, plausible deniability of exercising its policy in the Middle East without being directly involved. So it's not like as if it's a brand new thing with Biden. It's been going on forever with every president. Like, I remember when when Clinton almost got a peace deal between Israel and Palestine. And then some Israeli murdered the Israeli guy, assassinated the Israeli guy, and it fell apart. And then, like, Princess Di died in a car accident. And then I went on my first overseas trip ever. I was tripping balls. Okay. So yeah, it's it's not a Biden thing. It's a every American president forever thing since the beginning of this thing. But it can't go on. That's the thing. It can't keep going. Because Russia justifies its invasion of Ukraine because of American policy with Israel. If the Americans can do it in Palestine, why can't the Russians do it in Ukraine? Right? It's right. It's a contradiction. It's like a structural weakness. Like, sure, it's great, except but the whole thing falls apart because of this weakness here, this flaw. Like, why can't Russia act like an empire if that's how America acts? And the answer to that is based in our history of white supremacy. Because the United States also is a colonial nation. It was built on conquest and genocide, slavery and genocide. So, is that why the United States can do genocide in Palestine? Is that why? Because it was based on it. Is there no hope for Americans to ever escape their legacy, to ever change from their legacy, or can the Americans bring about a new understanding, a new consciousness? Well, if you're looking at Biden, the answer is no. The American president said he's a Zionist on national TV. Yeah, it's just something that Harris is going to have to deal with. That this is all assuming Harris takes the presidency, because like everyone knows that Donald Trump is going to try to overthrow the government. Everybody knows. Let's see. Legislative accomplishments on Trump's tax law. Okay, Robert Reich says Trump's tax law cut the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%. What did corporations do with the money saved? They didn't invest it or raise wages. They spent a record $1 trillion on stock buybacks the year after the law went into effect. Nothing trickled down to the workers. That's true. Donald Trump cut the tax rate from 35 to 21%. And Harris wants to raise it up to 28%. Like, everyone loves driving on our interstates. Like, ooh, interstate, how nice. All the businesses love the interstate. Amazon loves the interstate. Amazon loves it. You know why? Because Amazon gets to use that infrastructure to sell things, to make money. Amazon just uses the interstate to make money. I mean, how do you think they deliver all their stuff? They drive vans on the interstate. How do you think the interstate came into being? That was Dwight Eisenhower. President Eisenhower in the 1950s. President Eisenhower, you know, he was a general in World War II. And then yeah, and then he became president. But while he was in Germany during World War II, he saw with his own eyes the Autobahn in Germany. The Autobahn. What is the Autobahn? The Autobahn are big, wide, fast roads that connected the whole of Germany, so that Germany could mobilize its forces, its armed forces better. They can travel the country. In the United States, we had nothing like that. We had nothing like that. We had a bunch of like a web of slow roads that crisscrossed across the whole country. It wasn't this nice, neat grid pattern that made sense. There are no fat arteries or freeways or interstates. There was nothing like that. If you wanted to get from one end of the country to the other, it was a bitch. You were driving on like back roads the entire time. It was all back roads. So Eisenhower's like, you know what? Let's copy what the Germans did here in the United States. Let's make it so that it's easy to cross the whole country and to facilitate movement. Let's just do that with the power of the automobile. Let's do that. And then so how do you think he did that? Like, do you think he just snapped his fingers and it happened? Like, no. It costs money. A whole lot of money. Let's see. Man, I don't have any idea where I would find that. Here, Guns and Wealth. Let's see if it's in there. Man, I'm never... Oh, yeah, it's right here. Ta-da! This is from the New York Times. So, in the 1950s, let me move that into view here. In the 1950s, when Eisenhower was president, this was the basic tax structure. You will see here at the bottom is your income group. The less money you have, the lower down on the percentile you are, and it goes from 0 to 100. And over here, this line is like the top 400. And the way that the tax was set up was that, like, it didn't really kick in to be significant until you hit the 95th percentile. When you're richer than 95% of Americans, yeah, you can start paying a lot more in taxes. And then, like, if you're in the top 0.01%, yeah, you pay like 50% of your income. And if you're among the top 400 richest people in the entire country, yeah, you paid 70% of your taxes. If you're richer than 99.9999% of the people in the country, you can pay a lot more in taxes. That's what happened in the 1950s, and that's how they built the interstate highway system, which now corporations use all the time to deliver goods, and which is like a major backbone of our economy is transportation. Right? It costs taxes and an investment in the United States. Like the road itself doesn't make money. The road itself doesn't make the money. The road provides the service. The businesses, the private industry is what uses the road to make money. And the same thing with the postal system. It's not designed to make money. It's designed. It should be to provide a service, an important service, because that's another way how Amazon makes its money. It mails products. Like, goodness gracious. Now here's the problem. Here's what happened. You saw the tax rate in the 1950s under Eisenhower. It was over here. It was all over here. The top 400 people paid a ridiculous amount of money in taxes, and that funded massive public public works in the United States. It was really, really important. Under Donald Trump in 2017, 2018, they passed a new tax law using the reconciliation method so that the Democrats couldn't filibuster it. And what they did was they made it so that the richest people in the country paid the least amount of taxes. So if the richest people are paying the least amount of taxes, like, where do you think that money is going? It's leaving the country. It's literally leaving the country. And like, look at this. The poorest people are paying like more than like a lot of other people. But the poorest people are paying more in taxes than the richest 400 people. Not absolutely, but in terms of like their income. If you make $100, if I make $100 and you tax me at 70%, right, that leaves me $30, and I gotta like survive off of that. Right. Conversely, if I make $1 billion and you tax me at 70%, I still have $300 million to live off of. I don't need $300 million to live off of. I'm gonna be making a shit ton of money. So yeah, you can tax them way, way, way higher. It's not the same. Like the poor person shouldn't be taxed at a higher rate than the rich person. But that's the situation under Donald Trump and the Republicans when they had their trifecta from 2016 to 2018. So, how did I even start going off on that? Trump's legislative accomplishments. Top 5% of taxpayers would get nearly half the benefit if the Trump tax cuts are extended. So, yeah, there's like the Trump tax cuts will be extended if I don't know. They will be if the Republicans take control. And what that does is it's just going to bleed our country dry. Because that's what the Republicans want. They don't believe in public infrastructure. They believe in private everything. Because they want to concentrate power and wealth. They don't want to spread it around. Okay. Trump tax cuts. Trump goosed the economy with tax cuts that didn't pay political dividends. So to goose something is to make something move or work faster. So you could say like juiced. Trump juiced the economy with tax cuts that didn't pay political dividends. Trump's biggest legislative achievement was arguably the $1.5 trillion tax cut package Republicans pushed through Congress. It was a sugar high, and the economic impact wasn't all good. The tax cuts also fueled record deficits. It mainly benefited the wealthy by boosting the corporate tax rate to it mainly benefited the wealthy. Biden has vowed to roll back much of the tax cut, particularly for high earners, by boosting the corporate tax rate to 28%. So that's what Harris wants to do now. So yeah, Donald Trump is super bad. I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Like, man, I started this way back when no one believed me. And now, like, everyone knows that Donald Trump is a bad guy. And if you don't know, it's because you're brainwashed. And I know how, right? And that Russian guy showed us how they do it. Unbreaking 3. Keep that one. This is like the most boring show ever. Sorry. Man, I don't care anymore. Yeah, Donald Trump says to inject, um, bleach or disinfectant.
So I ask Bill a question that probably some of you are thinking of if you're...
Look at those accordion hands. He's playing the accordion.
So supposing we hit the body...
The accordion, look at him.
Whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light. And I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number in the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that
disinfectant injecting?
Medical doctors with, but it sounds interesting to me. So we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute, that's pretty powerful.
So yeah, don't let them trick you and say it never happened. There's going to be a lot of gaslighting about what Trump did and did not do. But I have all this video of it. Okay. Here's Trump saying that the medal he gives civilians is better than the medal that he gives to veterans.
I have to say, Miriam, I watched Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets or they're dead. She gets it, and she's a healthy, beautiful woman. And they're rated equal.
I don't know. That didn't sound very equal. COVID death rates are higher among Republicans than Democrats. Yup. That's known, right? When Trump pushed hydroxychloroquine to treat COVID-19, hundreds of thousands of prescriptions followed, despite little evidence that it worked. In late March and early April, President Trump repeatedly proclaimed that hydroxychloroquine could prevent or treat COVID-19. Within days, the number of prescriptions for the drug skyrocketed, even though evidence it could safely prevent or treat the disease was at that time very weak. A casual remark by a president who is not in any way a medical expert somehow led thousands of U.S. physicians to write prescriptions for a drug that had never before been used to treat a viral illness. What could be happening here? So yeah. The patients were, after Donald Trump suggested that people take hydroxychloroquine for treatment of COVID, like a bunch of people pressured their doctor into giving them a prescription, knowing that it would do nothing. Like, is Donald Trump really looking out for you?
And a lot of good things have come out about the hydroxy. A lot of good things have come out. And you'd be surprised at how many people are taking it, especially the frontline workers, before you catch it. The frontline workers, many are taking it. I happen to be taking it.
Hydroxychloroquine?
I'm taking it, hydroxychloroquine.
When?
Right now, yeah. A couple of weeks ago, I started taking it. Because I think it's good. I've heard a lot of good stories. And if it's not good, I'll tell you right, I'm not going to get hurt by it. It's been around for 40 years for malaria, for lupus, for other things. I take it. You know the expression I've used, John? What do you have to lose? Okay, what do you have to lose? So I have been taking it for about a week and a half.
Every day?
At some point, every day. I take a pill every day. At some point, I'll stop. What I'd like to do is I'd like to have the cure and or the vaccine, and that'll happen, I think, very soon.
So that's Donald Trump pushing a drug that doesn't work. He's not a medical expert, dude. Like, Donald Trump has like told people to do the craziest things. He's a bad guy, Donald. He's a fraud. Look at these guys. I see a farmer in there. Whack you with a bone. There you go. Alright, farmer dude. Let's get out of there. Try again. There you go. Try one more time. There you go. Nice job. Splish splash. Knowledge. Ivermectin. Donald Trump also wanted people to take ivermectin, which is useless. It doesn't do anything. This is the company that makes ivermectin. Kleinworth, New Jersey, February 4th, 2021. Merrick, known as MSD outside the United States and Canada, today affirmed its position regarding the use of ivermectin during the COVID-19 pandemic. Company scientists continue to carefully examine the findings of all available and emerging studies of ivermectin for the treatment of COVID-19 for evidence of efficacy and safety. It is important to note that, to date, our analysis has identified no scientific basis for a potential therapeutic effect against COVID-19 from preclinical studies. No meaningful evidence for a clinical activity or clinical efficacy in patients with COVID-19 disease, and a concerning lack of safety data in the majority of studies. We do not believe that the data available support the safety and efficacy of ivermectin beyond the doses and populations indicated in the regulatory agency approved whatever. So, like, we're going back into COVID again. Like, I'm hearing like people catching COVID. So it's important to remember that Donald Trump misled the American people. He's a shit guy, dude. Donald Trump should be in prison. And it's not because I have any ego attached to it. It's not about me. He's a bad guy for all of us. Even if you're white, he's a bad guy. The only people that benefit from Donald Trump are the oligarchs. That's it. Alright. I got a picture. I got a video of a kid with his head blown off by Israelis. The Israelis blew off this Palestinian kid's head in Gaza. And like the last we heard, the official count, death count, was like 40,000. It's got to be in the hundreds of thousands at this point. They're not even identifying who they kill. They're dropping bombs in buildings and tents and shit. They're killing kids all over the place. And then it doesn't even count the people who starve to death or die from lack of medical care. Man. That's why it's a fundamental issue. Like, how can we support Ukraine against the thing that we're doing in Palestine? If human rights are an actual real thing, how can we be doing that? So Harris has got to deal with it. I mean, like, some people are saying that Biden should step down right now and let Harris finish out the year. But I think that would cause all sorts of problems. Like, if Biden were to step down and let Harris take over, then guess who number two in line of succession for the presidency? If for some reason Harris couldn't fulfill her duties, the next person to take presidency would be the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, Republican. You don't want that. That guy's a insurrectionist. You do not want that. You do not want that. As long as Biden's there, you have Harris as a fallback. And then once Harris wins the presidency, the fallback becomes Tim Walz, who's a good guy, right? Tim Walz is a good guy. So yeah, just let it play out. I mean, yeah, it's shitty for the Palestinians, but I don't think Harris would do a big U-turn if she were to take power. After she takes power, she can fire the State Department, or like at least the Secretary of State, and then get in like people who can bring about a lasting peace in Palestine. Okay. That's all the yapping I can do. It's not as urgent this time. I mean, it's still pretty urgent, right? Like, because so one reason why the Republicans are really, really upset with that Biden is no longer the nominee. One of the reasons is because with Biden, he had a very narrow path to the presidency. He had to win Georgia. Georgia was going to be really, really important to Biden. And the government in Georgia is controlled by the Republicans, the state government. They control they control just about all the aspects of government. They have the state, or they have the what's it called? They have the governorship, they have the legislature, and they have the courts. So the Republicans pretty much control Georgia. So Donald Trump got 3 Republicans onto the election board, and they're election deniers. So what that means is that they're going to refuse to certify the election in Georgia if Donald Trump doesn't win. Like, we already know this. We already know this. This is their plan. This is what they're going to do. We saw a preview of it in Nevada, in Washoe County. There was an election, and the 3 Republicans refused to certify the election for the primary, and it was going to go to it was going to be elevated, but they stopped doing it before it got to that point. But that gave you an idea of what their plan is. It's like they did a, what's that football analogy where like you cross offsides? It's offsides. They started moving before the whistle. But now you know what they're gonna do. So in Georgia, at the state level, those three Republican election officials went to a Trump rally, and they were pointed out by Donald Trump, and instructed to fight. So you know that they're gonna do some shenanigans if Donald Trump doesn't win Georgia. So that was gonna be really important because Biden has to go through Georgia to win. But then they switched to Harris. Harris has multiple paths to victory, and they don't all need to go through Georgia. So that means Donald Trump spent all this time and energy to set up this roadblock that Harris is just gonna go around. She's not even going to go through, like, she doesn't have to go through Georgia. So if they refuse to certify the election in Georgia, it's not going to matter. Harris can win without Georgia, is what they're saying. So Donald Trump and the Republicans are really, really angry because their whole plans are ruined. Alright, what else do I got? Alright, I got an image. Yeah. Okay, that's enough. No one's gonna watch this anyways. It's more like an archive thing at this point. Just to show you that I have evidence of it. It's not just me rattling off shit off the top of my head. Like, I've already shown you the evidence of Donald Trump. Like, I've woven you the story so that you can double check on it. But I've already shown you the slides of the other attempts. I'm just drawing the line between them. Okay, until next time, I guess. Yeah, that's it. Alright, Pago Kiddo out. Peace. Stop.